So we got our program working and it looks great, but let's see if we can just make it look a little bit better. Okay, so we have this is what's outputting. This 22 doesn't look too hot. So what I want to do, instead of just outputting the area, I'm going to add a little bit of text here, and we're going to do something called string concatenation. Okay, so I'm going to say the area is, all right, so that's a string, but then you can see that there's this red line right here. It says it expected a semicolon. Okay, so if I want to add two things together, then I can just put a plus there, and then it'll go ahead and basically tie those together. So watch what happens when I do this. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to remove that breakpoint. We don't need it. And I'll just say 5 and 6 and run my function, and now look at that. It's beautiful. So it actually converted the 30 into a string so that it could output that whole thing together, and then we just have the area is 30, and it looks really nice like that. Okay, so just to recap this whole project, our first real program that we've written, it allows any user to calculate the rectangle or the area of any rectangle. So the main points that we have here: an HTML file that references a JavaScript file, inputs and buttons with unique IDs, and a place to output data with a unique ID. When I say unique, I just mean that these are all different. I have length, width, and output. They're all different. And then a button that will call a function in my JavaScript file that my HTML file is connected to. Okay, that function gets called when the user presses the button, thanks to this onClick attribute. In here, we say, hey, find the length ID in the HTML body. It'll look in here, find the length ID, get the value, whatever the user typed in. Parse float will convert this whole thing into a number, so that we can do math with it. Okay, we'll do the same thing with width. We'll parse float, get two numbers. We'll compute the area by saying length times width. And then finally, we'll say, hey, find the ID of output in the HTML body, and then assign this to its HTML. And that's how we had that pop up in the HTML of our document. So it looks like that.